Lucky Boys Podcast.
Does that make it harder to be a comedian?
What?
Because you have to watch what you say,
You have to self-govern.
depending on your audience. You alluded to that earlier, right? You said you're not going to say certain type of jokes if you're in a certain part of America.
Right.
You feel like it's not going to hit, or there'll be severe backlash.
No, I
So
don't
does that
worry.
make your job way harder, or do you find it makes no difference?
No, it makes you think harder. It makes you come up with creative ways of to write jokes. You can't just throw anything out there, right? I think with certain restriction. For me, I do mostly clean comedy. Not that I'm afraid to use the F word or anything like that, but I feel like being clean makes you write smarter joke. It's like that extra filter, because you can say like, pussy, dick, bitches, and get a laugh. But if you are clean and you still get a laugh, that makes you stronger comic. That makes you write smarter joke, in my opinion.
Doing that type of comedy makes you flex your muscles more. Like you're able to hone in on a craft.
Right.
I get it.
Right, but it's easier to go from clean to dirty, but it's super hard to go from dirty to clean. Like if you have a dirty joke, you try to clean it up, make it PG-13. It's almost impossible, right?
Interesting. Yeah. Josh, you're dirty as fuck.
You want to hear? Oh, it's working. It's working. You want to hear the best part? I got
you and Kevin.
I am. I'm really dirty. I'm really dirty.
You guys get like real down.
I got recruited. I'm hosting. I'm doing comedy, and I'm hosting for 3 hours a Jewish singles event in a Jewish temple tomorrow. Ooh. So I have to take my entire set and just throw it in the garbage.
So is Peng right? Is it harder to go from dirty to clean than it is from going clean to dirty, in your opinion?
To go from dirty to clean is much harder.
It's much harder.
Much harder. Yeah.
So it takes a lot. Why? Why is that?
Because, when you're able to, exclamate things with curses and names of genitals, it's easy to elevate because people automatically, you're already
making them uncomfortable.
Yes, exactly, and that's what comedy is. It's building tension and then popping it. So like, it's like a cheat almost. When you're doing dirty, you're cheating because you're getting them to this place quicker. When you do it clean, you got to be smarter with it. You got to be, the right selection of words, and you can say crazy stuff without being dirty. You just insinuate it.
Yeah. You guys ever see what was this comedian Joe Wang?
Yeah, Joe Wang. I know him. I know him. Yeah.
Holy crap, he's hilarious. I saw it. He got on my radar because I don't know, YouTube suggested it to me, and I think I saw his set. And you guys listening, check out Joe Wang.
Joe Wang, Joewon. He's
on
hilarious.
C-SPAN. He had this great set where he was doing this White House correspondence.
Right, roasting Joe Biden.
Yeah, and it was crazy. It was was it Joe Biden or Obama?
It was Joe Biden.
No, Joe Biden was the vice
president.
Was the VP
Yes.
It was brilliant.
It
was brilliant. He won over the crowd. First, everyone's looking because this guy's from China, right?
Thick accent,
man, totally thick, and he just won over the crowd. At first, everyone's looking at him like, does he belong here? It's so out of place.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing a set with a lot of very serious people, very powerful people in journalism and in politics.
Right.
And Fortune 100 companies. CEOs are present.
Right.
Yeah, and he's been on Letterman and Ellen show, all kinds of late night show. Yeah.
It's funny where comedy will take you. You're the joker amongst people who are actually doing things.
Yeah. I mean, that guy was a PhD in something chemical or physics or something. He was doctor. He's from Texas. We went to school in Texas, in Houston, Rice University, and then he moved to Boston. He did started comedy in Boston, and that's where he blew up.
So you met him before?
I met him in LA once.
Is he like the same?
Yeah, super funny guy. He moved back to China though. He's doing comedy there. Everybody respects him.
He must be a beast over there.
Yeah, it's tapping in somewhere.
Me and my cousin, like 10 years ago, we were watching Joe Wang, like in New York too. Like, I didn't start comedy then, but now she's like finding out I'm doing comedy, and I'm playing New York, she was super excited to watch me. She lives in Chicago now, but she's really proud of me because we were like comedy fans. She had no idea I'd be doing comedy, and I even met Joe Wong.
Do all the Asian comedians kind of know each other?
Yeah, pretty much.
Who's that funny guy? He was on that TV show. She just had a special on Prime. Oh, I can't believe I forgot his name. He's kind of short, long hair.
Bobby Lee?
No, Bobby Lee. Who?
Oh, Jimmy O Yang.
Jimmy O Yang, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you met him?
Yeah, I met him in Dallas once.
He had a great special on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Met him. Henry Cho is another funny comedian.
Henry Cho.
If you just close your eyes and listen to him, he sounds like a redneck. He grew up in Tennessee. He sounds like a redneck, but he's a super funny guy. And he's so much older than all of us. He's been doing it for a long time. He's still doing comedy.
Like the Asian comedians, they ever say, "Hey, let's get together. Let's do like an Asian tour"? I mean, I've seen that with Middle Eastern comedians before, where they get together. There's one guy that had a Netflix special,
Modi?
Yeah,
I mean, the two Israeli guys are doing that now.
I mean, he was hilarious.
Mo Amer.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of big guy.
Yeah. He's from Houston.
Oh yeah. He was hilarious, man. Like I watched both. I went after seeing the special. I was like, I wanted to see more, and I saw that there was another special he had, and my wife and I just like rolling, man. Dude is genius the way he put things together. And I see the comedic break sometimes he does with his laugh. His laugh is even infectious. I just started laughing when he laughs.
Oh,
he's great.
Do they have Asian comedy festivals?
Yeah. I just did one here in New York 2-3 weeks ago.
How was it?
It was great. The food was really good too. They give you like a little package, and there's a bunch of snacks and drinks. They were all amazing. I don't even know what they are. Like, I like it. It was super fun. It's called the Very Big, Very Asian Festival.
So it does exist.
It does exist, yeah. But I don't think they tour especially like the Def Jam kind of thing.
So it's very local.
It's very local, and it's not like you get like Joe Wong or Ali Wong and like Ronnie Chan and Jimmy O Yang all together. Yeah, you don't see like shows like that.
I think that would kill.
Yeah.
Ali Wong is also like
hilarious. Yeah.
Do you think that there's just no appetite for that nationwide, or do you think Asian comedians is just something that's very niche?
I think it's becoming mainstream. We were just talking about Uncle Roger, the guy from Malaysia. He's original from Malaysia, but he lives in the UK now. Does stand-up comedy. Uncle Roger. You ever seen him?
No.
Yeah, that's his character, Uncle Roger. His real name is Nigel Ng. He's touring America, selling out theaters.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
I opened up for him in Dallas. Super funny guy, very friendly too. He does Uncle Roger as a character up top, and then he brings me up. I do my set, and then I bring up Nigel Ng. He does his regular stand-up routine. Super funny guy.
I want to shift gears away from comedy. I just want to talk to two comedians about dating, because I always hear you guys have some stories. My other comedian friends also has interesting takes on it. Now, I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Would you, first of all, how's the dating scene for you in New York versus Dallas?
I don't really know.
Versus China, like how is that
China?
all like? I'm just
well,
curious.
I mean, China is like if you're dating, it's more towards relationship and marriage. It's more serious. Over here, there's like I'm sure right now there's like casual dating in China, but back in the days, I didn't think that even exists. Like you have sex with someone, you pretty much committed with that person.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's who you.
Yeah.
Interesting. But now you're feeling like it's evolving over there, where people
I think
having
so.
multiple partners.
Yeah, I think so.
The world is getting slutty, Will.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. What do you think? about this?
About dating?
About dating?
Because I hear that sometimes like there'll be girls that come
York.
up to you after the show, right?
Never happened to me.
No. Josh was like, too many. I can't get them off of me.
Listen, that was my life for after I split with my kids. I have a kid, so I had to split with her like 6 years ago, and that's right when I started doing comedy. Like a year later, I started doing comedy, and yeah, when you start doing shows and you have a good set, there's plenty of women after the show.
Yeah, I hear that.
Well, because when you first start comedy, a lot of it is bar shows. So everybody's just plastered and drinking. So and then you already just like broke the ice because they saw you perform, but it's not a healthy lifestyle being a single comedian and like going out and performing and picking up. It's not healthy. So I have
some people, it's the dream.
You
get to travel from city to city to meet a bunch of different potential partners.
Yeah, but that gets tired. It gets
old.
It gets tired. And I dated some beautiful women.
Look at Pung. He's like, hey, I just want to.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, Josh.
We live in two different worlds.
Well, listen, I was stuck at home like you guys during the pandemic, and I got very lonely and desperate. And I reached out to a couple of like people who I cut off. I was like, I'm never talking to that lady again. She's freaking nuts. And I ended up hitting them up just because I was like alone, and it's months. And then like right when it turned 2021. Like first week of January, I met my current girlfriend and we fell in love, and I moved her into my apartment 30 days later. And
that's why Kevin's no longer living with you.
Exactly. She's been there ever since. Yeah,
okay.
Man. We're going to get married soon.
Have you been on the road much?
With her, no.
No, I mean, comedy, does it take you on the road sometimes?
I've done it outside. Yeah.
Yeah. Where to?
Pennsylvania, New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay, so that's like
California,
Oklahoma, and Arkansas to us. If you're in Dallas, you travel to Oklahoma.
Oh, like
Arkansas.
the adjacent states.
Yes.
Yeah, tri-state areas they call it.
Oh, tri-state area. I don't know ours. What is it for us? It's like Texas is so big. It's like an entire country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you think has better looking women, New York City or Texas?
And Texas have really good looking women too. Lots of Latinas, lots of Mexicans, mostly Mexicans. Here is like Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. I mean, they're beautiful too.
Right.
Do you see a lot of mixed biracial dating there? So everyone.
I mean, biracial, yeah, black and white.
Like, do you see like a Mexican with an Asian?
No.
Or no?
No, rare, very rarely.
Because I see that here. I'll see like a Puerto Rican with an Asian or Dominican. Yeah, that's not uncommon.
Yeah, no. New York City.
But New York City is a melting pot.
Yeah.
Like people are more, for the most part, open into dating other cultures. And especially when I know when I dated outside the culture, I didn't start dating Asians until later on in life.
Right.
And when I dated inside the culture, I was more shocked.
Right.
It's so different
Yeah.
than other.
I only dated a couple Jewish girls, and every time it was like, oh, this is weird. This is different.
For
know?
you,
Yeah.
it wasn't weird. It was just different. Like I had to get over some of the things that I was used to, just culturally.
Right.
Just different. Like what they like to do for fun was a little different. Parties, dances was a little different. Like if you're dating a Latino girl, you're gonna be prepared to dance all night till you're just like done. You know,
Right.
you're like done. They can party. Like
And they can
Mexicans can party, Puerto Ricans can party, Dominican, like they can, like they're like Energizer bunnies. They just don't stop, you know. And I'm tapping out. You know, it's like I thought I could party, but
I bet you were
there's
popular
levels.
because you're a tall Asian guy, good looking, you're strong.
No, when I was younger, I was actually, they used to call me Lollipop because my head was bigger than my body. I was a skinny Asian guy. I was, you know, I don't know if I was popular, but I was accepted in a lot of groups only because I didn't care. Like they would make, like I told you earlier, people would make fun of me.
Yeah.
Lollipop, you big head, Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee looking. You know, they would roast me, and I didn't care. All I cared about as a kid was what? You just want to go out and play. You want to have fun. You know, you want to meet people, and it was, to me, it was either that or stay cooped up at home, and that wasn't an option. Like I didn't want to stay home.
Right.
I wanted to be outside playing with the kids. I want to play basketball, baseball, football. I want to meet like that girl over there, super cute, you know. And that was really it. I mean, I don't know if I was popular, but I was unique because I was the only Chinese kid. You know, so it was an advantage in that sense because they were like, yo, I like Chinese boys.
Right.
You know, this and that. So it was nice. It was nice. But then when I got older, yeah, I guess I became a little bit more, I guess, popular.
Like college years?
Yeah, I would say college years. That's when I guess, you know, came to my own. I accepted who I am. You know, during the weird teenage years, you kind of want to fit in with everyone. And you just go off to all these different things and you try different. You find out what works for you and you're going through this awkward stage of your life. And then college, I just kind of came to my own and I accepted myself and I said, you know what? I'm going to make friends with whoever. And most of my friends I made that I got really close with were really just like nerds, introverts. It was the opposite of people I usually hung out with as a teenager. And I found that I felt better with them. I don't know why. I think maybe the group that I found was just, they seemed more authentic and sincere, and they didn't care about having other people's approval. And I think I was drawn to that. Even though they were so different, we barely had anything in common. They didn't play basketball. They really didn't play sports. But when I did and I invited them, they were happy to come, right? When we would have conversations, they wouldn't try to one-up me. I got like 10 pairs of Jordans, Will. Yeah, that is shit. I just banged this girl the other night. Like, it wasn't
a competition.
Yeah, I didn't really feel that, right? And it was just authentic. Like, hey, yo, you need that? Yeah, I got you, Will. Oh, you want to do this? You know, I'll support you. Oh, you got a tournament? Yo, what time? I want to come. I'm like, what? I never had friends like that where they want to show up and just be there for me. So I thought that was interesting. So instead of judging a book by its cover, I just took time to get to know people and then said, damn, man, that this person is a good dude, you know, or just solid.
Do you hang out with more Asian friends or white friends or mixed crowd?
Man, I wish I had the real estate in my life now to hang out with multitude of friends. Right now it's just me and my family. Everything else I do, unfortunately and fortunately, because I'm so proud to be with my family. I love family time. It's my favorite thing in the world. But everything I do outside of that, if I'm hanging out with someone, it's all business. It's pertaining to work or the podcast or something like that. I don't really have a chance to say, like, hey, Josh,
let's go bowling.
Yeah, you want to go bowling? You want to shoot pool? You want to go, get smashed on Friday night? Like, I don't have that bandwidth
luxury
anymore.
Yeah.
It's a different stage of my life. So I guess, at the time back then, it depended on when you asked me, right? If you asked me if I was 14, 15, I would say mostly Hispanics. And then you asked me, like, in college, I would say it's mixed because it was predominantly white people in my school. And then I joined the Asian interest fraternity. So then I hung out with them, right? So it's like I got a lot of experience. And then after college, most of my colleagues are white. And I hung out with them afterward because that's where I absorbed most of my time. And then as I moved forward with life and I got into the entertainment stuff and I'm meeting with different people. And now in entertainment, you're going to get a mixed pot of everyone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now that I stopped all of that, well, for the most part, I grew into a different stage. It's really just family.
Yeah. But this part of your life, Will, is a very short period of time. The kids are young now, right?
Yeah, it's a very short period.
Yeah,
and it's what I want to do. So this isn't like, it was pre-planned. Like, I planned on being a dad.
Right.
And I planned on having these relationships. My old friends, when we do meet up for birthdays, and I haven't seen them in like months or even years. When I do meet up, it's like we haven't missed a beat. Josh, when's the last time I seen you?
I don't know.
It's
a
been
year
months.
ago, 2 years ago?
Right. No, not that long. It's months.
Right.
Right. And I mean, when the Asian hate thing happened, you reached out just to make sure I'm okay.
Right.
And Norm, and I appreciate that. But I haven't seen you in a while, but I know as soon as I see you, you're Josh.
Right.
It's like we haven't missed a beat. So that's like most of the relationships with a lot of my close friends or people that I've been with in the past. Like, when we see each other, we hit the ground floor running. It's like we picked up right where we left off.
Yeah.
I think that's life, right? I think you kind of move on, you get into different stages in your life. I try not to look back. I appreciate everything that happened, but I don't miss it. I don't miss it. I just look forward and I enjoy the current moment.
Gotcha.
Smart philosophy. Yeah, I grew up in Queens.
Dude, you know how depressing it is looking back? It's depressing when you start like looking at old happiness. You get sad for some reason. It's weird. Like you get kind of like this.
It's unattainable.
This nostalgic shit, and for some reason it beats you up inside. Yeah. At least for me, it does. Like I start thinking about like my old friends. Oh, I miss the time when we used to this and that, and it just puts me in such a whack place. And I'm looking at my life now. I'm like, yo, I should be happy right now. I'm still healthy.
Right.
I still have a lot. I have a lot more than I did in the past. Right. So why am I mentally going back there when I built everything that I have up until this point? I should enjoy what the younger version of me would appreciate or wish I had.
Right. Fortunately for me, I don't have anything good to look back on, so I don't suffer from missing anything.
How about you, Peng? What's that like for you?
Well, I grew up in northwest China. It's like right on the border with Kazakhstan, Tajikistan. It's Muslim predominant area. There's a lot of Muslim people in that area, and I'm Han Chinese. So are the kids in my neighborhood are Han Chinese. But back in the days, they were like they don't get along with each other, with especially kids. Like if you're Han, you get picked on by the Muslim kids. But we were from the military family, so we grew up in the military base, and we like stick to each other. We would have to fight those kids when we were kids, and then we moved down south. I still didn't feel fit in. It was all Han Chinese people, but they speak a different dialect. I couldn't speak their dialect to begin with. They used to make fun of my accent and like pick on me. I had to fight them.
That's fascinating because right away you would assume that a Chinese person living and growing up in China
is going to be okay living in China.
They wouldn't have a hard time fitting in.
But that's the secret of humanity, is no matter how similar we are, we'll find a way to make a division between us and pick on each other. That's what humans are best at, finding out the differences between us.
Yeah.
Then Ronald Reagan had an interesting saying during his presidency when he was alive, and he had a speech, and he says, "I can't help but imagine," and I'm paraphrasing here, but he's saying if there was an outside source that came, like aliens, for example, how quickly would we all find common
band
ground?
Together? Yeah, right. They're planning on doing that to us soon. Don't worry.
The way things are going, they're coming out with UFOs. New York Times, CNN, Fox News.
Any day now.
60 Minutes. Like it's crazy. You're not known as a cuckoo. Back then they would think you're an absolute nut.
You know what's going to happen? The aliens are going to get here and they're going to be racist towards humans.
Or humans will be racist towards aliens.
That's probably likely too.
Racism is, in my opinion, extremely barbaric. It's like
it's caveman mentality.
It's caveman mentality. It's a old way that's, you're making an assumption about someone, a definitive assumption,
right,
based on how they look and what part of the country they're from.
Yeah.
And if you ever had the chance to get to meet someone, you realize that that's not the case. They actually break everything that you think.
Right.
And even with me, if I look, I'm Asian, I'm Chinese. And when I meet another Chinese person, if I had preconceived notions, like if I thought that this person was a certain way, and then I speak to them, like they're nowhere near what I thought they were going to be.
Right.
Right. Like comedians, for example, if I did it from a comedian standpoint instead of racial, I think most people would think comedian, haha, okay, make me laugh. Make me laugh, right? You're going to be out to always try to have a punchline ready. You're going to have a set of things ready to say to entertain, especially when the cameras are rolling. But you didn't do that. And neither did you, Josh.
Shit, we're really sorry about that.
I can't say I'm so disappointed, guys.
We let you down.
We were talking about such serious.
Yeah, it was
stuff.
serious. Yeah, so,
we tapped into.
We know how to act like serious people when we have to.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys get it with new friends that you meet. Like, come on, make me laugh.
Well, you notice they have like a lot of these new shows, like that Seinfeld show, comics drinking coffee in car, whatever that show is.
Right.
They have shows like that, and they show comedians shooting the shit like it's just a natural conversation. It's not. They went there to know that they had to shoot the shit, something funny for a certain amount of time. It's not like, that's just some random conversation that they're having. Like I'll hang out with comics. We could be boring or sad, and then other times when you're not, you're just shooting the shit with your friends. You guys could be the funniest you've ever been.
When I watch interviews, I feel like a lot of comedians or entertainers have sets of stories that they're ready to tell. And the reason for that is because when I watch different interviews, they have the same stories. So they're kind of like, the interviewer usually tees it up for them.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why podcasts are so popular now, because the ones that are not scripted.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then you get the more raw version of people, what they're really like.
Right.
Instead of someone that's just trained them these trained interview, even though it could be funny, like I was watching an interview with Jamie Foxx, and his stories are and he's an incredible storyteller, super talented. And I enjoy just watching Jamie Foxx just because of his interviews. But then what I noticed is that he says a lot of the same stories on different podcasts or different
right.
late night TV.
Because how many different stories can one man have? He's got
he's got a ton.
Yeah, I'm sure, but ones that he can tell, the ones that he can tell,
the ones that he can tell, without. Yeah, I mean, do you see that a lot? Do you ever feel like you need to have, as a comedian, that pressure to make someone laugh, that you need to have this arsenal ready to go?
No, I think in real life I'm super boring, and I like serious conversations, but I don't ever try to make people laugh in a regular conversation. Do you?
I mean, the pressure comes when you're on stage.
Yeah.
I think, okay.
Yeah, and I think comics hate it when other comics just run their bit. It's like, oh, you're doing a bit on me.
Yeah. Comics don't want to hear other comics do bits off stage.
Yeah.
You touched on something there. So when I'm with my friends, right, when we meet up and hang out, we shoot the shit, I feel like I want to be myself. So we just talk about regular things like the way we are right now, right? And if we're not laughing, we're being serious. We're talking about life stuff. We're talking about our families or whatever problems that we have, work, whatever, life. And with my other group of friends, they don't want to hear none of that shit. They just want to roast, have jokes 24/7. And if you start going down that lane, they're just like, no.
Right.
Like they're just not interested in that.
Yeah, that's why we always say the funniest people in real life are not comedians. They never go into comedy because they think, oh, this is easy. I can make people laugh all the time. Why do I have to go on stage? A lot of comedians are not funny in real life. I'm not funny in real life. I'm always the observer. I always watch people, listen to what they say, and analyze it in my head. I think that's a big difference. You're right about it. There's a big difference between funny on stage and funny off stage.
Do you ever feel like you don't fit in because of that? Because not too many people, at least to my experience, unless it's my close friends, want to get that serious in terms of conversation. A lot of people are guarded.
Yeah.
Like they just don't want to open that can of worms, or they just don't want you to know what irks them. I feel like for whatever reason, this day and age, people are afraid to talk about the way they feel because they're afraid of being judged. Like I was just telling, Michael and I was just having lunch. You guys can't see him. He's my buddy that's helping out because Norm's not here. But I was telling him some deep shit about what's going on in my life, some of my issues that's going on, and it felt good just because I haven't been able to speak to anyone about it, and I haven't seen him in a while. So when we connected, he asked me and how's the family, and I just went into it, and then I just went boom, floodgates, opened it up, and things I wish that could be better, things I wish didn't happen, but it's out of my control because I don't control other people and the way they treated me, and I wish we could have a relationship because we are blood, but the trust just isn't there. And it's so hard to have conversations. What I realize is to my regular friend, my normal friends, right? Just that's not like this close to me. It's like I almost feel they don't want to hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. I'm such an introvert myself, and also like growing up Chinese in a Chinese family. It's they see it as a weakness to show your true emotion. They think if you show your true emotion, you are exposing yourself to others. You're exposing your vulnerability to others, and that could end up hurting yourself.
But none of us is perfect, right? And we should have friends that we can speak to, but instead we pay for people to listen to us and give us advice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I have friends that I'm fortunate enough to have friends that I can talk to, and sometimes they have nothing to give back to me. They're just like, damn, Will. I think that's why so many people are depressed.
Right.
And mentally unstable is because
they don't have someone to talk to.
The only voice they hear is their own.
Yeah.
And they want, it's not that I don't think that they don't want to share with someone. I think that they're just afraid that person may use it against them.
Yeah, why'd you attack me? Yeah.
That's beef. You know, like that is war. Like when you say certain things, you can't take it back.
Why can't we conversate or tell people?
Yeah, why does everything need to be entertaining? When I'm meeting up with a group of friends, like we have to make each other laugh. We have to entertain. Everything has to be so light.
Because I think
we have to pretend like problems in the world don't exist and we're all perfect and we're all living this amazing life.
I think it's a survival instinct because, you know, life is so fucking heavy that if you're going about it, you know, from that deep introspective, like self-analysis place, it gets too deep. It gets too hard. It gets too heavy.
But isn't it harder to carry that burden on your own? Maybe if you share it like I am with you guys right now, like we're kind of sharing that burden, like, oh shit, I found 2 guys here that can relate to what I'm going through. Or you found a couple of guys that can relate to what you were saying, right? And you as well, with your life, where you shared with me what happened to you in the past, right? And some of your hardships. Right. I mean, isn't that much easier to deal with? Isn't that what friends are for? Building this bond and relationship is that you can talk about, you can laugh, but you can also talk about life and get some advice or just somebody to listen to you.
I think what it keys back to is that it's a matter of trust, and that's the thing that's lacking a lot these days. You know, people just don't trust each other.
Why is it so hard to trust someone? Why is everyone so damn suspicious? Like everyone's has this, I feel, and I shouldn't say everyone, but seriously, almost everyone feels guarded. Like when I ask them something, they're like, oh shit, is he gonna think of me like this? Am I gonna regret if I tell Will this? Or anyone? Like I could see it when I'm in a setting, and I don't think most people are out to get anyone. I think they you know, for the most part, if something happens, they're just looking out for themselves, and you just happen to catch a stray bullet.
Right. The world has changed, Will. The world is a different place. We live in a society now where like everything that you see on TV is men hurting other men. It's wars. It's women cheating on their husbands and men cheating on men and people stealing from each other and everything. That's all that's ever publicized. And that's a social construct on purpose. You know, it's easier to control society when everybody is suspicious of each other. You know.
Hey, you know what I saw yesterday? I saw a homeless guy with a bike, and on the bike there's Ukrainian flags all over.
Right.
I'm like, this dude is worried about the wrong thing. Like he had to think about where he eats, where he sleeps, and he had to worry about Ukraine.
Right.
Like like even the homeless guys are thinking about the conflicts in the in the world. Yeah, you're right. It's all over because we're so bombarded with the information.
Yeah, there's no good news network. I mean, I'm sure there is, but for the majority, it's just whatever's the worst thing that's happening during that day that's what's going to make the news.
I think that's because it holds your attention.
Fear.
It gets your attention, right? Because they want to know how long you stay on that click, how long you're watching their content.
Right.
And if it's good news, perhaps they think that when they look at the data, where there's no shock value, it's boring, they're gonna
Well,
bounce.
the favorite thing is like when they have like a teaser for the evening news, and they'll be like, there could be something in your refrigerator that could kill you. Find out at 7. So you have to fucking stick around. You gotta, like don't you just tell me right now? I could die. I don't know if I even maybe I just ate it.
I can't make it 7 minutes.
I'm cooking dinner for my family. Maybe I'm killing them.
Yeah, what if I don't make it to the session?
Right.
It's half an hour from now.
This past week, I've been out the country. I had absolute zero reception.
Nice.
No Wi-Fi. There was no cell towers. Even if I were tempted to put my cell back, there was no way I could get reception.
That's awesome.
No, I told my buddies, I was like, yo, if you don't hear from me back on Friday, by Friday something bad happened to me, send out a search group.
Send the search and rescue.
But for 1 full week, nothing, and it was amazing. We're so normalized with being connected to our phones, like an extension of our brain,
Right.
that I forgot what it's like to just be without it. And the first 2 days, I was like, I need to check the internet. I need to go somewhere where I need to know what if something's and I made up reasons. What if something happened to my mom and dad, and I need to know, like, any excuse to go back. And at the end, my wife was telling me, Will, you're a much better person without looking at your phone all day. And she's like, you're just incredible. And I just had so much fun with you. It was like different. You're so different when we have your attention.
Nice.
And I think that's why we can't talk to each other anymore.
Oh,
because we want to talk to our phones. We want to look at what we want to look
just
at.
Getting over. You just want to get over the conversation so you can go back to your.
We share our deepest secrets with the
right,
phone.
Yeah.
You're right.
You're right.
And then in our phones, we also want to prove to the world that we're worthy. Right. So that's why we flex so hard on Instagram.
Right.
That's why, my Instagram, I just decided to private it, and I decided not to fucking post anymore on it.
Nice.
And because what it's used for, well, what is Instagram really? It's a selling tool.
Yeah.
If you're on it, you're really just to promote something if you're an entertainer.
Right.
But if you're out there going like this and you're posting selfies all day.
Yeah, you're just selling your life
with
other
deep
people.
Captions. I think a lot of people will look at you like, damn, that dude's depressed. Right? If you look at my tiles and there's a bunch of selfies constantly
with quotes,
with deep quotes,
yeah, it's pretty depressing.
Like Will's posting this just so people can like him.
Yeah,
damn,
and especially for
sad.
comedians, there's no way to avoid social media.
Yeah,
right?
no, you
to
have
not
to
have
do it.
social media.
You gotta sell yourself, right? It's a selling tool, and I'm okay for using it like that.
And it's becoming even more important at this day and age. TikTok, that could be a whole career.
Yeah, I mean, there's people who are doing stand-up comedy who probably don't belong doing stand-up comedy, but they have like a TikTok that got 10 million likes.
Yes,
Stephen
He, the guy that goes emotional damage.
Yeah.
Right? We had him on the podcast.
Oh, nice.
And he told us his plan. Like he was just during COVID, he was like, man, he went to Vermont in the middle of nowhere with his girlfriend, his girlfriend's place, and he was like, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna further my career. I'm gonna figure it out, and he did. This guy's a genius on the low. Like you meet him, you watch his videos, you're just like, oh, just some guy. But he actually there's a method to his madness.
Right.
And during the podcast, he shares it. You guys can go check it out. He said, I'm going to get big on TikTok first because the way it's set up, like it's for new users to get viral is a lot easier. So once I hit X amount of subscribers, followers, whatever on TikTok, I'm sorry if I'm not using it. I don't have a TikTok account. And then I'm going to do that, and I'm going to migrate over to YouTube and Instagram. Because YouTube and Instagram, you said, doesn't really promote.
Right. But it monetizes better.
New artists or entertainers or new creators. What they do is whoever's big, whoever's trending, they try to, because that's what the ad, because they're selling ads at the end of the day.
The most eyes,
they're not there to promote you. They're there to promote the ads. You're just a part of that.
Right. Yeah.
So he had this great strategy, and he just blew up, man. He just figured it out, and he shared it with us. He was super transparent.
Does he do stand-up comedy?
No, he's more of the actor persuasion, and he wants his goal. He shared on the podcast to be an A-list actor, and he has a method. So he has a roadmap, a plan on how he's gonna. And I wouldn't bet against him because everything that he's said,
he's done
short amount of time.
Wow.
In a short, and I keep hearing his name.
Yeah,
that's
keep
so
hearing
cool.
his name. Like people keep telling me, and I just say emotional damage. Immediately, you were like, boom, Stephen.
Well, most people don't who get big success.
And he's a great guy, by the way.
Yeah, he's probably a good person,
Cool. Like,
right?
he's down to earth, super positive.
You don't just stumble upon success like that. Like this is a very intelligent person who put a lot of thought and energy into it. So, yeah.
And so he was one of the people that was able to monetize social media to his advantage and have a healthy, from my point of view, in my discussion with him, seem very mentally stable and healthy. And this dude has no ego, man.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the rare, like he has millions of people that know who he is. No ego. Just like, I've met guys that had less than 100 followers with bigger egos than him.
Are you looking at me, Will? What the fuck?
Yeah.
You know?
There's one of the funniest comedians I know. He's not very well known. I don't think you know him. Andrew Norelli.
I don't know who that is.
He's a guy out of California. If you listen to his albums, super good joke writer, such a great joke writer. I didn't even met him, but he has no social media, no Facebook, no Instagram, doesn't promote his show on social media, doesn't do anything on social media.
Well, he's a throwback. Like, that's the
No,
old
he's.
school.
I don't think he's that old. I think he's like our age.
I mean, in a way,
That he's not promoting it.
Yeah, that's, back then it was like word of mouth.
Yeah, he's old school. In that sense.
It's an old
but
soul,
he's,
yeah.
Yeah, but he's our age, I think.
Why
But
does
it's
he do
hard.
it like that?
I have no idea. He's such a mystery to me. He's such a myth to me. I'm sure I can find common friends who can reach out to him. But I really want to like talk to him and see.
Is he successful?
I think he makes a living. And he has really high quality albums out on all these platforms. But no one knows his like personal life because he doesn't have social media. Yeah,
Social media is corny. At the end of the day, when you think about it, like, do you remember before you got into social media? I remember it took me like a few years. I was like, I'm not fucking doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not making a Facebook. I remember even just making a MySpace. I was like, this is ridiculous.
I want to add one thing. About the how comedians can survive without social media. There's plenty of comedians doing cruise ships. There's plenty of comedians doing corporate gigs, corporate shows, especially before the pandemic. I think pandemic changed everything, but before the pandemic, you can make a really good living just by doing corporate gig.
Can you make 6 figures?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The guy I told you about, Henry Cho, is Korean from Tennessee. He's not mainstream, but he makes enough money. I think I'm not 100% sure, but a lot of comedians told me that he is the highest paid corporate gig comedian in America. Like companies will pay them a big amount of money every year just for the availability, just in case they need him. He had to be there. Doesn't mean he had to be there. Like they don't have to hire him every year.
So he found this lane.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do for health benefits?
You marry somebody who has health benefits.
Is that it? You find a
My girlfriend's a
corporate
doctor,
wifey?
so I'm okay. I'll be all right.
Lucky you.
Other than that, or you have to sign up for some type of care?
Comedian care.
Comedian care.
Yeah. I'll just throw you in the garbage.
Is it tough though? I mean, so then you get paid, you must get paid up front, but then when it's time for tax season, you're just like, holy shit, you gotta have financial discipline because not all that is really yours.
Well, yeah, you have to pay taxes.
And then you have to pay your management, right? If you have a manager.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's
agent?
already, every time they pay you, it's already
Taken away.
Oh, it's
away.
baked in already? So they already take the taxes and
Yeah. Well, no.
No,
They
the
take
manager's cut.
The manager takes the cut.
Yeah, they take their cut.
But the taxes are not.
The taxes is
No, that's
you
your
still have to
responsibility. You're an independent contractor, but
Yeah.
you can claim a lot of stuff. It costs a lot of money to do comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need moisturizer for my face.
You need clothes to wear. Yeah, you can't go on naked.
Exactly. Therapy for after I have a bad set.
Yeah, that's the cost of doing
Dude, what do
business.
you guys do when you have a shitty set? Have you guys ever
No.
been booed off? Or like
I don't think I've ever seen someone's
ever been
bombing. It's
blue-
just quiet. That's just that's a bomb. Like if you go into a room and someone's doing like 7 minutes of material and you don't hear a fucking thing, like you can hear a pin drop. That's the sound of a bomb.
So it's more like a silent killer.
I've fucked up way worse. I had a corporate gig that pays really well. Like in the afternoon, we did a show, and I think it was like Wednesday afternoon, big corporate gig, and they asked me. Well, I was going clean because that's I promised them I can do 40 minutes clean, and I was doing well with the clean jokes, and then the boss man was like, "Hey, you can do dirty joke. It doesn't matter. We're having fun." I was like, "All right." He said it. So I started doing dirty jokes, and the HR lady was like, No, she like interrupted. She's like, "Can you take it down a notch?
Bring it down a few notches."
Yeah, and that like killed the energy in the room. All of a sudden, all these these co-workers, these employees, they start feeling self-conscious, like, "Oh, we're not allowed to laugh." And then I did it was on my part too. I was such an amateur. I did a racial joke, and the room was silent, and it was something about I said it on the spot too. I was like, "Oh man, this joke usually kills, but it sucks because you guys don't hire any black people." To their
especially this day and age, all the corporate they try to promote cultural diversity and understanding.
And that was right. There was no black people in the room.
They knew it. That's
the thing, especially when you put a mirror in someone's face.
Yeah.
So they didn't pay you for that?
No, I got paid before I went up.
They're just never gonna hire you again. You're saying?
No, after the show.
But did anyone laugh, or were they?
The young guys were like this. They knew,
covering their mouth, laughing.
Yeah. But they after the show, the HR lady sent out a mass email to everyone apologizing for the comedians' insensitive comments, insensitive jokes. That was the hardest I've ever.
Did they do anything about not hiring black people?
I'm curious to see if they hired like a bunch of.
We need a black person. They got a black comedian the next year. That's what they did.
So what happens in a corporate gig? Did they start letting other people know that, hey, don't book this guy? He's
no, I don't think
he's got inappropriate jokes.
I don't think there's. They didn't hire me through network, so they couldn't go on a site and leave a review or anything like that.
Okay.
It was through friends' references that I got the gig. So I think I'm fine. They're just not gonna hire me again. I still got paid.
Like what? They don't hire blacks. They don't hire Asians. This place is terrible.
Oh man! All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Peng, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
And Josh, thank you for coming through.
Thanks for having me, Will. Man. Really nice to meet you, Peng.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this conversation. I think you're being fair, and you're asking questions, and I hope I handled it well. I hope I gave you direct answers for the most part.
Thank you, Peng.
It was nice to meet you, Peng. Man.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. Thanks, Will.
Lucky Boys Podcast.